All right, gang. Welcome to our very first SEO roundtable here at Digible. Today, we're going to talk about emerging SEO trends, and we're going to talk about AI in search and the rise of voice search optimization. So I know it's something that's top of mind. Even the client today brought up AI a little bit. So exciting. Everybody's thinking about it. I know that we think about it all the time. We use it. Let's talk about what we do. To start out, I would love to start with introductions. So I'll just go around and state your name, how long you've been at Digible, and how long you've been doing digital marketing. I'll start. I'm Tammy Smith. I've been at Digible since 2020, so almost 5 years. And I've been doing digital marketing for, I always say 12 years, but then I've been here for 4 years, so that makes it about 16 years, a long time. Who would like to go next? Cassia, you're on my screen next if you want to go.
All right. My name is Cassia. I have been at Digible for just under 2 months.
It
And
seems
I've worked in,
longer.
it does. It feels like I've always been here. But I've worked in SEO for over 2 years.
Awesome. Cherry, you're next on my screen.
Hi, I'm Cherry. I have been at Digital for 2 years and I've been working digital marketing for 4.5.
Awesome. Joe.
Um, I have been at Digital for 3 years next month, and I've been doing SEO and digital marketing for something like 8 years. I don't know. The answer changes every time somebody asks.
You're like 22 years, man.
Such a young boy.
Totally. You got in it young. Awesome. Kelsie.
Hi, I'm Kelsie. I've been at Digible for the same time as Joe, so almost 3 years now, and I've been doing digital marketing for 7 years.
Cool. Karina.
Hi, I'm Karina. I am the SEO coordinator. I've been at Digible for a little over 2 months, and I've been in digital marketing for 2 years.
Cool. Kristen.
I'm Kristen. I've been at Digible for coming up on 4 years, and I've been in digital marketing for 7.
Cool. Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I've been at Digital for about a year and a half, and I've been working in digital marketing for almost a decade, and 8 of those years have been SEO specifically.
Ooh, I should change my answer to like 1.5 decades. I love that. Grace.
I'm Grace. I've been at Digible for almost 5 years now, and that's all I've ever known. So that's how long I've been in digital marketing.
Sweet. Christa.
Hi, I'm Christa. I have been at Digible for about 2.5 months and have been doing SEO for, I think, a little over 12 years.
And Bailey.
I'm Bailey. I have been at Digital for 6 years, and that's how long I've been doing digital marketing.
You're our OG, the digital OG SEO.
I'm the SEO elder here.
You are. Awesome. All right. So here is our first question. So SEO is constantly evolving with AI, voice search, and algorithm updates, which we love. What recent trends have you noticed that are changing the way we approach SEO? What affects you most, would you say?
I would say there's been a big shift in how people are searching. Things are getting way more conversational.
Yes.
So it's more about how you're asking Google a question and then it's sort of giving you a broader response, I guess. So you're asking a more broad question and it's giving you a chunk of an answer. So instead of going into websites necessarily to find what you're looking for, most of it is done on the search engine results page, zero-click search, as they're called.
Yeah, which can be scary, especially for clients, because they really want you to click through. So that kind of changes. I mean, I know that we now want people to show up in those generative search results, because if you're not there, you might not be getting eyeballs on your site, your brand. But have you noticed clients ask what we're doing with generative search, or are they just do they just feel like, all right, they're in control, they know what's best, we'll just leave it in their hands?
I've definitely had clients ask about it, and I think it is, you're right. It's sort of this double-edged, like they want people to click to their website, but they also want to show up in that very top spot. So it's kind of like playing the game with AI search. You want to make sure that you are showing up for more broad terms. If someone's looking for like apartments in, whatever city, like apartments in Chicago, that's really hard to rank for. But if you can give more information and hopefully find ways to be further down the funnel and optimizing for that, it's more likely to get people to go to your website. So you'll show up on top, and then people are more likely to click into your website to find more answers. So, having like pet-friendly apartments or apartments with a pool or something like that, really making sure that you are showing up for those terms instead of just apartments in Chicago, because that could give you a million results and, like pricing information and stuff. So
And
it's
very
all
vague
about
results too, like
yeah,
not nearly as targeted.
exactly. Yeah. So playing the game of AI.
This makes me think too of if they are asking questions in generative search, we do want really good imagery and maybe some really good videos or just something else that goes with the text to entice those click-throughs, because now we have to think what's going to make people click through more. So having those, it's always been important, especially, I mean, Kristen can speak all day long about Google business posts. Like, we need really good photos, enticing photos, lots of them, things that are specific to everything we would talk about. But I think that that's even more valid now. Like, you got to be a very visual entity out there on the web so that all that stuff is being grabbed by generative search to kind of show what's happening.
I think it's kind of interesting, like the irony behind going off what Rachel said. The more AI driven search becomes, the more human driven our SEO approach has to be.
Yeah.
Because, like you were saying, Rachel, everything is turning into conversational, easy to digest snippets, which is kind of the opposite of how we used to conduct SEO, of being like really robust with our content and authoritative. And I think being authoritative still matters, but it seems like what is working really well for AI search results is the pieces that sound the most human. So I find that really interesting. It's definitely a reminder to lean into kind of like the jargon of the industry that we're in, which I think at the end of the day, like, we're marketing homes to humans. And I think that it's a good opportunity for us, like in the coming year, as we experiment more with how we can show up for these AI driven results, leaning into kind of the conversationality of that industry and how we can, speak more to the people behind it and not just build content that sounds really nice.
Awesome. That kind of flows into the next item to talk about. And these are very similar, so there wasn't too much difference with this next question, but it was that AI is becoming more sophisticated with search generative experience, SGE, and AI-driven content and predictive analytics shaping SEO. How do you see AI affecting search behaviors and optimization strategies? And I kind of think about the article that I found, and I shared it in our chat with, what was the article called? So it says, it's like research shows how to rank in AI search, and they were kind of trying to figure out, the people in the article were trying to figure out how they could maybe game it so that we would show up better. And the top ranking strategies were site sources. So, external links, we love that. Quotation addition. So adding maybe a source and somebody's quote, like an authoritative person, maybe at the complex, or just authoritative person within the PMC itself, having them quoted in there might also lend credibility into the EEAT factors there. And then statistics addition. What do you guys think about that stuff?
Well, I think in past conversations, Joe's brought up the significance of like author authority for content and how that can be kind of challenging for these types of websites. So I think that would be a really great opportunity to collaborate with clients on a deeper level to be able to get someone on their site to represent that content and to build out that author authority with them
Yeah.
collaboratively.
Thinking of some of our bigger PMCs, if they had somebody that maybe goes on the circuit that travels and talks at conventions that's known within the circles a little bit, that they could give some quotes about a specific property, even like tell us about this property of yours, like, give us something specific about maybe what we're trying to rank for. We could prompt them like, tell us about the luxury amenities at XYZ high rise in Lodo or whatever. And maybe they could help us out there and give us good quotes.
For sure. Yeah. And some of the background for that is the impact of an influx of AI content. Definitely there's a lot more importance put on showcasing who's the author and showing the humanity behind the content, like Grace was saying, for sure.
Yeah, it's like a real human said this, and here's how we know because somebody's name is tied to it. I love that.
I ran a little experiment before this call. So I think it kind of ties into this human aspect. I asked ChatGPT and Google similar queries, but Google is slightly reworded how you would probably Google it. But essentially the query was, this is very long. Are there any pet-friendly one-bedroom apartments within walking distance of downtown Pittsburgh with a gym under $2,500 a month? So I gave this to both ChatGPT using the web search feature it has and Google. And I thought it was very interesting that ChatGPT gave results that are all property websites, so websites for individual properties. And then Google was 9 out of 10 results were apartments.com and similar directories.
Wow.
And it seems like ChatGPT has a very strong preference for what is more typical human style written content and you telling your story of your property. It did not include a single apartments.com listing. I need to finish up some formatting, but I can share the results after this.
Like take a screenshot or that would be awesome. Thank you. Really cool test. How fun. Yeah, one way that we can finally bust through the apartments.com glass ceiling, right? It's like, thank you, generative AI search.
Yeah, that's really crazy. I think to go on, like to piggyback on to like the how is AI affecting search behaviors and stuff. I feel like even personally, I have been lazier when it comes to searching. I'm like, let me just ask Google really quick instead of actually investigating and finding out something. So it definitely, I mean, we're going to probably have to do a lot of testing and like different things to see how that's going to relate to our industry. Obviously, like Cassia just did that. That is mind blowing. I wouldn't have even thought of that. So I give you like mad props. That was really cool.
It was cool.
But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see like what are the lazy queries that potential renters are going to have, or like what are the things that like people are asking in ChatGPT or on Google, like, and how can we capture that audience in like a easy way for all of our properties? So
I want to coin the lazy, what did you say? Like a lazy search? What was that? Lazy query. I want us to coin that. That's our new keyword there. Lazy queries by Digible.
Every query I make is a lazy query. I'm like, how long would it take me to X, Y, and Z? But I think that's how everyone kind of searches. I mean, even like TikTok, you're like, how do I turn off this setting in my phone? And instead of going to Google, sometimes I'm like, someone on TikTok has probably already done this, and it'll do it step by step. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of queries are relevant to our industry, because I really haven't thought super hard on that.
Yeah, definitely more research.
I also asked Claude to generate a list of conversational queries one might ask when searching for an apartment.
Ooh, what do you say?
So some examples are overall, they are significantly more conversational. I would also say a lot of them are, if you were to Google these things traditionally, you would either have to do it in multiple steps or, open up all of your options and dig down and like search through these. But you can do things like, I am a young professional moving to this city. Can you recommend apartments with XYZ? They're all much more detailed, I would say. And they usually are the beginning of a conversation. One of them was, where was it? I ended up going overboard and making so many questions just to see what it
Hard
would
to
come up
stop.
with.
Once you get started, it's so much fun.
Here it is. I need help finding an apartment in city. Can you walk me through my options based on my needs? And that was interesting because I was like, well, that would be really a conversation. So I asked what it would respond with to get more information. So then it asked me, what's your monthly budget? When do you need to move in, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it will be kind of lazier in the sense that you are not doing a lot of this research yourself. The AI will be doing that for you. I think it will also be interesting to see if it thinks of things you would never think of. Well, did you think of this amenity? Do you need that? So that will be very interesting to see if it lines up with Claude's guess on what people will search for.
I love that. Maybe we need to craft a blog that's like how to talk to your AI assistant and get the best results in your apartment search. Like, bam, that could be really cool. Very cool.
I think another opportunity that comes to mind for us at Digible is how we can like lean into cross-channel strategy to help us have the most success with AI-driven results. Like what comes to mind reading about this and talking about this is native articles, just because they're such long-form content that typically is more of a human approach to things. I remember working with an apartment, like a conglomerate of apartment complexes, and we were writing a native article about the best neighborhoods to live in Minneapolis. And it was all these areas. And I think as people lean into AI to help do the heavy lifting, like Bailey was talking about, having those like community-based responses or something like an article that gives you exactly what you want. Like, hey, we reviewed these 5 neighborhoods in Minneapolis, and this is the best neighborhood. And being able to like spit that result out in an AI snippet, I think that's a really cool opportunity. And I think being able to have that and collaborate with what we're doing on SEO and lean into those other channels, I think would be a really great way to kind of work smarter, not harder.
Awesome. My brain's just firing now. I'm thinking, all right, content that's really good for a website would be a moving guide since my kiddos are moving in a week and a half. Yes, I'm panicking. And like they could really use a moving guide, like things that would help them gather all this stuff that I'm trying to help them do. Like moving guides would be great. But then location guides, like what's the best neighborhoods in, Northern Denver, Western Denver, Southern Denver, or just Western Connecticut, or just like we could do state, we could do city. That's a lot of content right there.
Well, it's great too, because, there's sort of 2 methods that AI search really loves, and they love like long form authoritative content that is actually useful, but we've seen it time and time again where like lists are always preferred by readers, and they're very much preferred by AI crawlers, especially like bullet points or numbered lists, because they'll just go through the article and then they'll take you, like jump you down to the spot that answers the question. So anything that is sort of question answer based, so you can use, like Cassia did, you can use AI to figure out what questions people are asking, compare that with keyword research, and then just put it into this, make sure that your blog has the answers to these questions that people are asking. And that's just a great way to kind of just give AI exactly what it's looking for and get more people on your site.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, I think, that makes our job just as more important on making sure that information is accurate, because we have to think like, since AI, they're already using data-driven algorithms and the machine learning is developing. On the flip side, their fraudulent detection is developing as well. So we want to make sure, that we have all the accurate information, because Google might challenge the validity of what we push out just because of something missing, or we might miss, prospecting customers for these clients because of the information not being all there.
Yeah.
But yeah, AI can
Also,
be.
Google told you to put glue on pizza, so take it with a grain of salt. So
That's it.
I feel like
Can I
it's so
chime
hard
in?
because it's
Bailey, no, you chime in. You go, girl.
no, I just was gonna say I feel like it's so hard because in my mind it's like SEO and content digital marketing is like content, 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 but at the same time it's like there's so much content out there that like we need to be better at being fresh, relevant, and concise. But how do we do that with also having ample content? So we rank, and it's so hard because in my brain I'm like, we need more content as an SEO, but then as a user, I'm like, when I get onto a page and I have to scroll 3 times to get to something, I'm like, get to the point, dude. Why are we wasting so much time with words? So I don't know. That was just my 2 cents of I just needed to get out there. Sorry. Kelsie, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Perfect. That's a perfect segue because I was going to go down that route of I also think AI is great, but to what extent is it too much AI? Because right now we're like in the very much like the developmental stage and everyone's like whether they like it or not, like it's being forced at us. And if Google's implementing all of like these fraudulent detections, who's to say that the content that we're seeing from AI is actually even valid anymore, if it's up to date? So I've always thought about like search intent is a big thing. Like if you're going to write a blog or create content, like it has to answer what the user wants. So I think that's why to Cassia's point of like running that test of like between the two different chat GPTs, Google probably showed apartments.com because it's thinking of like the user and like what they would want to see if they search for something like that. But then like the way that search is changing too, like people are going on TikTok to look up stuff and like would they even want to read a blog? So is writing really great blog content even worth it? Because all you're doing is training an AI that someone may not even look at because they just want to be shown what to do instead of told what to do. So I think it's a cool pivot in how maybe we make content with that in mind.
That's an awesome pivot. So thinking about how do we integrate these ideas, like you said, search intent. Like if we're thinking about searchers who are searching on a place like TikTok, they're not going to want to read a blog. So a blog topic might come up, but they're going to go to the video, right? If, like something comes up that's video oriented, they're like, that's my jam. I'm going to go there. Might even trust it more. Or it's like I can actually see the visuals. So how are we going to integrate this? Does it make sense to be everywhere? Do we hone in on places that we're not currently? Like TikTok, I know paid media is using TikTok ads, but as you know, we're not really using TikTok in our social platforms and our SEO. Is there space for us there? What do you guys think?
I think that brings up an important opportunity to work together across departmentally because 100% it's so broad. Like Bailey and Kelsie were saying, like the locations people can gather the information that they're looking for is so vast that we need to be working together with the other departments to be able to say like, hey, we're writing this blog because we do need to train the AI tools about who we are. That is significant, but then, hey, maybe this is a good topic we've identified for a video somewhere else,
Yeah. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important because obviously, even if TikTok is banned and there's there's always going to be something new.
So
and
there's
I'm
always
sure
going to be a new TikTok. Somebody's going to pick that up and be like, here's the US TikTok. It's Utah,
Right.
UA talk. I don't know.
Right. So it'll be interesting, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how we could integrate like apartment SEO onto something like TikTok.
Yeah, something that just kind of explodes. And that's definitely a different demographic, right? My mom's not going to find apartments on TikTok. My mom's probably going to use Bing. Not saying that in a mean way, but MSN is her browser. She calls it the internet, and she means her MSN. Like when the internet's broken, I know she means that her email MSN thing is broken and I have to go fix it. So yeah. Instagram Reels feels like what did that say? I just missed the chat. But yeah, that was a good point. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's worth targeting to continue to target multiple things because I was thinking of the other elder millennial mindset of oh, finding an apartment, that's a laptop task. You don't do that on a phone. If I'm making a big purchase, I'm going to go on my laptop. And
Right.
that is not how my younger brother would do that search at all. I don't even think he owns a computer, which is insane to me. So I think targeting multiple platforms is definitely beneficial, especially when we have a lot of apartments that the average college student on TikTok is not going to be moving into anytime soon.
Yeah, to that point, my kids, I don't think used a laptop at all to do. Maybe they did once or twice, but it was mostly on the phone. They were getting chats and they were sending it to each other, and I'm sending them things that I'm finding at work from my laptop, and they're just like, I could hear the eyes rolling, and they're like, yeah, okay, thanks, mom.
To go off of that, I recently, since we're moving, have been on everything on my phone. I'm like the complete opposite of Cassia. I was like on my phone, and I just remember on one website, I was like about to like throw my phone. I was like, why is this so bad? This experience is so bad. It keeps refreshing and freaking out.
Yes.
And
so experience matters.
groundbreaking to say that mobile is important in
Mobile's
SEO,
important, you guys.
but I feel like sometimes we do all of our work on a computer. I mean, very rarely do I like actually put my clients into like the mobile view and like mess around and like or look on my phone to see how things are working.
So maybe it's a good exercise that we integrate like doing that every now and then. Like, let's go see what that experience looks like. And I know that we test, like PageSpeed Insights does test on mobile and desktop, but it's a little bit different of running the test than us actually being there and kind of using it as if we were looking for an apartment. That's a good call out.
I think something else that's like good to remember about our industry is that the cycle to convert is really long compared to some other industries and products. Like if I'm going to buy a pair of red tennis shoes, I might commit to that in 30 minutes on a mobile search, but
especially
I'm not gonna like, yeah, especially if they're cute. But I'm not really gonna like decide on my apartment the same day I think about renting one. So I think that's helpful when it comes to all the work we're doing on site and like what Bailey was saying about really engaging with the user once they get there. And if we're only writing content to be able to rank, is that really helpful? Because you would hope that if we're building a strategy, surrounding user intent, we would show up somehow at some point. And then once we get them on site, it's just like being really intentional about, selling ourselves and what the product is. So I think that's something helpful to think about in the AI landscape. Is it would probably be a different conversation we'd be having if we were like e-com. But given the nature of kind of what our prospects have to go through and the time it takes them to really think about their purchase, I think is super helpful for resiliency in a time that we're in.
I love that. So I'm thinking too, like you said, if they don't, like you would buy the shoes really quick because you can see them, right? You can see them. You can imagine if I wear those are cool. The only thing that I need to know is, do they fit? I'll get it. If they don't fit, I can send them back. Can't really do that with an apartment. So I think the touring piece is really huge. And I know during COVID, we did a lot with video, like we're going to do this video walkthrough of the tour. You can kind of get the idea, or they had the leasing agent like do the phone tour with the person so they could talk to them. Like, do you think there's still room there for things like that? Because I still think that could be impactful, like just the feel of being there, knowing what it looks like inside.
I think more than ever, honestly, especially post-COVID, and this is such a big decision that I maybe look at a website, I might look at some pictures and like, I don't know if I really want to like schedule a tour and take some time out of my day or my week to go down there and not see something that I like. But, this, as we get more and more digital, especially younger generations, the more we can hit them with like, here's like a property tour, or like, here are some short clips of some of the amenities. This is stuff that I can do more research using my own eyes from multiple sources instead of just reading text on a page and seeing some, professional pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, as someone who's done several cross-country moves, I can't always just like be in the city to go tour someplace in person. So even when I originally moved to Denver, I, signed my lease for that apartment sight unseen, basically just going off of what they had on their website. But thankfully they had some really great virtual tours. So I think it's important just for that aspect of it as well.
Huge. Are you guys getting sites that have actual video tours, or are the virtual tours the generated kind that's like, here's an approximation of what the space looks like? Like, is it real versus image generated?
I've seen several real like tours on sites. I
Awesome.
also have several sites that have both like a video page and a virtual tour page, which I also think is helpful because if I just wanted like a general idea of what amenities they had to offer and kind of what that community space looks like, I don't care as much of like touring through, you know? So yeah, I think both have their benefits.
Awesome. What do you guys think about just having videos from properties that run you through? It doesn't have to be every 1-bedroom apartment. They have in every 2-bedroom apartment, every studio. But if they had like a general, like here's what our average studio looks like, or 1 or 2 different versions of it, and they just had those on their YouTube channel or Instagram that people could reference and go look at. It's like I can't take the tour. I don't want to slow the website down. I don't want to put all the videos on the website, but we've got links out to go view some of our virtual tours on these platforms. Do you think that would be a good strategy?
I will say I do have a client that did like basically like a clubhouse walkthrough video tour that showed off different amenities like the pool and the fitness center. And that had one of the highest engagements on their YouTube channel, and a lot of views where people were just watching it.
That's cool. We could have a videographer on staff who flies out and records these things for us. Social could use them. Yeah, Rachel's like, I will do it. I love that.
Have you guys seen there's like a chat bot that's like you can talk to a current resident. I think it would be so cool if like current residents would take a video of their apartment, like this is what the 1A looks like. And then there's stuff in there you can actually visualize living there. And then you would also have just like an empty apartment. This doesn't really have anything to do with SEO, but
yeah.
I don't know, just like with the flood of AI content and just written words, I feel like videos can be more important, and that would just be a unique way to stand out.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
That is, oh wait, sorry, because
no, you go ahead first. I want to hear your thing first.
Well, this is just like a shameless plug to like the case study me and Tatiana are working on. Because I read that like article months ago about how people are searching for things differently, like on TikTok versus Google. So I wanted to see if like we can make videos, but like make them fun. So like instead of just doing a general, like here's like a 1-bedroom apartment tour, instead like you can showcase that same content, but maybe say, here's how you can decorate your 1-bedroom apartment. And like that video then still shows you the apartment itself, but shows you like, hey, you can like put shelves here. Like that way you can maximize vertical space versus like, the landscape. So just like fun ways to get your point across, but still, like plug.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think one of the like Bicos used to do that actually. They don't have a blog on each property website, but they talk about like how to make your studio look roomier, or how to get the bohemian style in your 1-bedroom apartment. Like they used to do things, or they do things like that, which is a lot of fun. It'd be really cool just to get links back from that and just being able to see the properties for sure. All right, guys, ready for the wrap-up question? Cool. All right, so we're going to wrap up with key takeaways. What is one thing that each of you are excited to explore further from today's discussion? And much like we did the intros, I'm going to go backwards this time, and let's start with Bailey.
Wait, sorry, I have to like read the questions from the SEO channel, so I was reading it again while you were talking.
That's okay. It's the one thing that you're excited to explore further from today's discussion.
Honestly, after Cassia brought up her point,
yeah,
like my little brain did not think at all to like actually go test things and be like, what are some apartment queries that like users have? And what do we do if we like throw it into Google or throw it into ChatGPT? And like, what do those results look like? So that's definitely something I'm excited to see more. I'm excited to see what Cassia has pulled up. But also just to be like, how are people searching in that way? Like, how can we answer those questions and steal that data? Sorry, steal that audience and get them onto our website. Yeah, there we go.
Wisely. Awesome. How about you, Krista?
It was pretty quiet in here. So I was thinking, I think the thing that I was most intrigued about is really the different content types that are getting pulled in those search results. So kind of, as much as AI is new, I still think from an SEO perspective, the range and variety of content types is just as important now as it has ever been. So yeah, I think that's one thing. And also just like content refreshes are even more important, especially when it comes to, apartment complex, which are adding new amenities, new buildings, new, landmarks around the area. I think that would be super important. So just stuff to keep in mind.
I love that. I love being relevant in every possible place because we don't know what, like today, whatever generative AI loves might not be the same in like 6 months from now. So just having all your bases covered is great. All right. Grace, how about you?
I was originally going to say the diversification of content formats, like Christa said. I'm super excited about how we can use bullet points and all that jazz. But I'm also excited about prioritizing FAQ content and also FAQs on the GBP. I feel like that is overwhelmingly a successful tactic with AI results, at least as far as we've seen. And we have like so much juicy info to pull FAQs from. So I'm pumped about being able to utilize those, really recommend FAQ pages or find ways to integrate that content into existing stuff. Sorry, Rachel, I stole it, but you can just say the exact same thing. You'll probably say it much more eloquently.
I'm
Rachel,
going to say the
go ahead and
exact
go.
same thing. What Grace said, but better.
Yeah.
No, but I think like all the same things, really like talking with clients about how we really want to start integrating more question-based. So looking up more questions that people are asking instead of just kind of putting keywords in and focusing on how do we make this keyword sound natural. We get to shift like how do we have this conversation based on what questions people are asking. And also, like Grace said, like mining your Google business profile, your reviews, your FAQ section, and also mining your competitors to see what those people are talking about, and then making sure you've got the answers that they don't.
Love it. Love it. Kristen, what do you got?
For me, it's videos. We've obviously touched on the importance of it, and I feel like it's just another opportunity for cross-departmental collaboration, which we also discussed. I was recently involved in a video campaign for like 5 properties that we're trying out, and it was a nice opportunity to like work with the paid team. And then obviously I'm able to take that video. We created YouTube channels, like optimize that. They're able to take it on their end and run some campaigns with it. So I just think that even though we've been creating videos for some of our properties, there's still a lot of room for growth there.
Agree. Karina, what do you think?
Honestly, kind of like a blanket of what everybody's been saying.
Like a little bit of
More focused on like the
everything.
content aspect. Yeah. But just, like seeing how like we take a creative approach to engaging and maintaining attention to people who may be looking at these sites. And you just our approach in general. That's what I'm excited to see.
I love that. Kelsie, what are you excited about?
It's hard not to say something that everyone else hasn't said already.
Okay.
But I am
down is all
excited.
right.
Well, I have more to say, I think. I can find stuff in my head. I am excited about like how content is treated and viewed on different platforms. So I'm excited to see like what the case study gives me at the end of this trial, just to see like how Facebook and Instagram, just how we can like, better create videos for those platforms, and hopefully maybe we can like integrate it more into like SEO. Like who knows what's going to happen? Life's crazy.
I love it. We never know.
Never know.
How about you, Joe?
I'm really interested in what Cassia did with comparing ChatGPT to Google. I'm also really interested in seeing like how that references up with Bing, since Microsoft invested so much in ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Because if they're just doing a Bing search, that would just like, I don't know, reinforce the importance of ranking number 1, number 2, number 3, if they're just pulling those results in, if that is the case. But yeah, interested to see what happens there.
Cool. Cherry.
I think what stuck with me the most, particularly from this conversation, is back to Cassia and her fantastic test, but the results that Claude gave you about what a conversational query looks like, in combination with, the light pushback from Bailey about, are we overly optimizing for AI and not thinking about what is it going to be like for the human being who asked the question, and once they land on that website, is it going to be engaging and help them continue to answer the questions they have. And it sort of got me thinking about how much more important it is to present information from a lifestyle perspective, because Claude was saying things like, this is who I am. I have this type of job and I have this dog. And I think those are like such specific and interesting details about people and the lifestyles they're looking for that we could maybe be creative about addressing. And I think that's exciting.
Cool. All right, Cassia, bring us home. What are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited about a lot of things. I think kind of a few things tied together. Snippets, I think, are a really interesting thing that have a lot of potential for our industry. I think on my second day here, Tammy, told me that page 2 is our page 1 because we end up after so many sites like apartments.com and we just get pushed down. And I think that's an amazing opportunity to jump ahead and get on top of those. And just kind of skip the line, which I think is really fun. And I think it's a good opportunity to make content that is extremely useful to people, just having those answers to questions. FAQs have been huge for a while now, and I feel like a lot of people aren't taking advantage of it. I think especially for this industry, people are looking for answers to very specific questions. So we can definitely take advantage of that. And I think just having content that is still long form, but having those little snippets in it is a great balance. And I think based on that short test, we might be able to find some interesting things we maybe have not thought of before.
Yeah, I love that. That's exciting. All right, guys. Thank you so much for chatting today. Lots of good things going on in the noodle. So I love this. I can't wait for our next one. I appreciate you coming here, and I will follow up with ideas. Think about what you want to talk about for the next one. I'll submit just a query, like, what do you guys want to talk about? I'll take an intake, and if we get multiple answers, we'll do a vote and we'll do another one. Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon. Bye, guys.